It was a quiet afternoon at Fiorano, but something had changed. Lewis Hamilton stepped out of the SF25, removed his gloves slowly, and paused. Then came something new, a small nod and a knowing smile. "Much better," he said over the radio. Calm, clear, no drama, no fanfare, just a sentence that spoke volumes. After months of debate and frustration, Ferrari had made a quiet but crucial change to the car's steering system. The difference was instant. Hamilton didn't need to explain further. His body language said it all. The question now is simple but huge. Did Hamilton just solve the one issue that quietly haunted Ferrari for nearly 3 seasons? And if so, what does that say about everything before him? That nod wasn't just about comfort. It marked the end of a problem years in the making. To understand why his words mattered, you have to go back to 2022. That's when Ferrari began adjusting the power steering system to fit Carlos Sainz's driving style. Sainz prefers stability at the front, a smooth, predictable feel into corners. Ferrari delivered that by softening steering sensitivity and damping natural feedback. It made the car calm and steady, but dulled the connection between driver and tyres. Over time, that created a dead zone at turn-in. Charles Leclerc, who thrives on sharp responses, adapted, but never looked fully comfortable again. Then Hamilton arrived, and in his first laps, he felt it. No feedback where it mattered most. Where he expected clarity, there was silence. Where he needed confidence, there was doubt. His reaction confirmed what Ferrari hadn't fully realised. The car's setup, shaped around Sainz, had been holding them back. That first test at Fiorano didn't just raise eyebrows, it forced Ferrari to listen. When Hamilton asked, "What have you done with the steering feel?" It wasn't just a complaint, it was a warning. The steering felt numb, unpredictable. No real sense of what the front tyres were doing. For a driver who built his legacy on confidence at the limit, it was unacceptable. The feedback, honest, mechanical, had been smoothed away. The SF25 had a deeper problem. Inside Ferrari, though, there was hesitation. Changing the power steering wasn't as simple as flipping a switch. The current setup had been tailored for years to suit Sainz's style. Engineers feared that altering it might upset the chassis balance. They knew Hamilton had a point, but weren't sure how much change the car could take. Then came the tipping point. Multiple races on fast circuits where the steering feel started costing time. Data showed Hamilton lifting earlier, turning in later, and second-guessing the car. The team had no choice. Hamilton's request was clear. A more linear assist curve, quicker ramp rate, and hydraulic feedback with low latency. Reworking this meant reshaping the steering rack geometry, adjusting torque resistance, and refining the response system. Not easy, but necessary. To unlock the car and Hamilton, they had to rebuild from the inside out. The work began quietly at Fiorano. Behind closed doors, Ferrari tested a modified SF25. Underneath the surface, everything had changed. The steering column got new internals. Dampers and bushings were retuned to remove slack and reconnect the driver to the front axle. Most notably, a new electronic override map was introduced, built from Hamilton's Mercedes telemetry, not to copy, but to rebuild trust. But this came with risk. Sharpening the steering could destabilize the chassis during weight transfers, especially in fast corners. It also challenged the carefully tuned aerobalance. A wrong move could make the car twitchy, even undrivable. But when Hamilton hit the track, the payoff was immediate. Turn-in was quicker. Rotation was sharper. The car finally felt alive. He gained tenths just on corner entry. Tyre wear improved. Longer stints became easier. Leclerc's reaction? Mixed. He admitted the steering offered more feel, but called the balance lively, meaning unpredictable. Ferrari had taken a leap forward, but it raised a new question. Who was the car really being built for? Then came the proof. Engineers overlaid pre- and post-change data. Onboards from earlier races showed Hamilton making tiny steering corrections mid-corner, hesitating slightly, unsure. After the fix, those corrections vanished. His inputs became clean, confident. The car responded exactly as expected. The telemetry showed it too. Higher mid-corner speeds, fewer corrections, smoother lines. One engineer summed it up. "We were chasing stability, but we killed feel." In their effort to tame the car for Sainz, they'd gone too far. The front end went quiet. dulling the very feedback that top-tier drivers need. Sainz's setup leaned toward a locked-in front with muted liveliness. It worked for him, and Ferrari built around it, first with the SF23, then the SF25. But that DNA didn't suit everyone. Hamilton refused to adapt. Instead, he forced Ferrari to rethink what a driver needs from the wheel. He didn't just change the setup, he shifted the philosophy. For the first time in years, Ferrari was rethinking its core approach to front-end feel. Not everyone was thrilled. Leclerc had spent years mastering the flawed system. Now, with changes tailored to Hamilton, he was forced to adapt again. What had been predictable, if limited, now felt edgy. He recognized the feedback boost, but it came with a price. Pressure quietly mounted to match Hamilton's precision. Inside the garage, tensions rose. Feedback sessions became divided. Some engineers clung to the Sainz-led past. Others embraced the Hamilton-driven future. Fred Vasseur had backed the changes, but now had to manage the emotional fallout. Because underneath it all, this wasn't just technical, it was personal. This was about trust. Trust in the driver's voice, in the team's direction, in Ferrari's identity, and that trust was being tested in real time. Before the fix, Ferrari's performance was frustrating. One-lap pace was decent, but over a full race, the car dropped off. At circuits like Zandvoort and Suzuka, where precise entry is critical, the drivers couldn't push. Without front-end confidence, they backed off. After the steering fix, the picture changed. Tyre wear improved. Lap times stabilised. Both drivers found new rhythm. Now, Hamilton and Leclerc are within 25 points of Verstappen. In the constructors' battle, Ferrari is closing on Red Bull, but feeling pressure from McLaren. It all shows one thing: steering feel matters. A car can look fast in theory, but without trust at turn-in, that speed never shows on track. Now, Ferrari is finally unlocking its real pace. Looking ahead, the 2026 regulations could make this even more important. With a full reset in aero and chassis coming, teams must lock in steering architecture a year early. That means decisions made now will define the SF26. Hamilton's push gives Ferrari clarity. For the first time in years, they know what kind of front end they want: sharp, reactive, responsive. Red Bull builds around Verstappen. Mercedes is tuning for Russell. Ferrari has to commit too, not to compromise, but to purpose. So the question now becomes, did Hamilton arrive in time to change Ferrari's future? Can this fix spark a new era, or is it just a flash before the reset? The answer won't come overnight. But the foundation is there, and it started with one quiet sentence. This is what I needed from day one. On a quiet workbench in the Ferrari garage, the steering wheel rests alone. Beside it, two gloves, one from Hamilton, one from Leclerc. It's a small scene, but it says everything. Because in Formula One, the most powerful connection isn't between the engine and tyres, it's between the driver's fingertips and the wheel. That's where confidence is built, where instinct lives. And now, finally, that connection is alive again. The steering speaks, the drivers respond, the car listens. For the first time in years, they're all speaking the same language. Ferrari may have fixed the feel, but have they fixed the faith?